Today, guys, we are going to review for a retake quiz. Several class periods ago, you took the 7-1, 7-2 quiz and struggled with it a little bit, so we're going to review over it again. So anyway, let's go ahead and let's walk through what we did here in this quiz review. So for starters here and looking at this, it says in 2000 the world population was 6.08 billion. And it increased by a rate of 1.21% each year. Let t equals 0 be equal to year 2000. Remember the formula, and I gave you a little hint here, and I told you that if it was decrease, then it was the b-value would be 1 minus your rate. And if it was increase or growth, it'd be 1 plus. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here at this problem here. In looking at this here, first of all, I see that my initial value is right here. It's going to be 6.08. So I'm going to have a of t, because it's asking us write the function for a world population. So it's going to be a of t is going to be equal to, now I have to take this 1.21, it's a percent. I have to change it to decimal point. So I'm going to move it 2 places to the left. So that becomes 0.0121. Alright, now here my initial value was 6.08 times, now because it is increase, that means it's going to be growth, so I'm going to use this here for my b value. So it's going to be 1 plus my rate. This is my rate, so 0.0121. And that is going to be raised to a variable. And we're going to use t because that's what we used right there. Now, does this function represent growth or decay? Well, it represents growth because I said increase up here. So that's number 1. Okay, now let's go to number 2 here. In looking at number 2, it says use a graph to predict the population in 2000. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this function here and I am going to write it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and simplify it here. So it's going to be a of t is equal to 6.08 times, and it's going to be 1.0121 raised to the t power. Now I've entered that in a calculator here, so if I go here, we're going to launch this, and I've entered that in right there. So here's what my function looks like. Now let's go ahead and just play with it a little bit here, and it wants to know when t equals 20. So if I go up here and I am going to type in a 20 right there and hit done, and looking at right here, it tells me 7.73 is what it's going to be. So let's go back, and I can see here that according to this, it says the world's population will increase to 7.73 in 20 years. So let's go ahead and write that. So I'm going to say the world, and there's population will be, all right, let me clean this up a little bit here. Okay, so it's going to will be 7.73, and it's in billion, so billion, and it's going to be people. So let me slide this over a little bit. People in 20 years, period. Okay, so there it is. All right, now let's go to the second one here. In looking at the second one, it says write a function. Okay, well, first of all, what is my initial value? Remember the formulas that I put up above. Okay, my initial value is, so we're going to be a of t, so the amount after t. It says here your computer was $3,000 when it started, so it's going to be 3,000. And it says right here, it says decrease. So that means this time we're going to use 1 minus. Now I see I have 30%, so I'm going to move it 2 places over, so it's going to be 1 minus 0.3 raised to the t. All right, or I could write it a of t is going to be equal to 3,000 and times 0.7 to the t. All right, so let's take this and enter this into our calculator. So going back to here, okay, let's go and let me shut this one off, turn this one on, and here is the graph. Okay, so now I want to know where it's going to be after, let's see, what did it say? So let's go back and read the question. It wants it to know where it's going to be at t equals 4. Okay, so, let's go ahead and answer part B before we get underway here. So part B here, it's, let's see, what's happening? I see it's going to be, here I see decrease, so that means it's going to be dk. All right, so dk. All right, now, going down here, it says t equals to a 4. All right, so let's handle this t equals 4. So let's go back to here, and I'm going to enter in right there a 4, and it tells me it's going to be $720.30. Okay, so let's go back here, and I'm going to write the computer will be worth 700 and let's see, what did it say again? $720.30. Okay, so $730 and oops, I'm sorry, I wrote it wrong here. $720.30 in 4 years. Okay, so there he goes. Now, that was your first side of the quiz. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the second side. And looking at the second side here, it says a relation consists of the following. Okay, so looking here, here's my relation. Here's my domain, here's my range. It says, what is my domain and range of the inverse? All you have to do is flip it. So this down here, these values right down here, we're going to go here, 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 and here. And these values right up here are going to go here, 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 and there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So the inverse of this relation, I'm going to put a, let's see, 1, 2, 5, 7, and 8. Then it's going to be a 0, 3, 4, 6, and 9. Okay, and that's all there is for number 5. All right, now let's go to number 6. And looking at number 6 here, it says find the inverse of the function. Okay, now the first thing it needs to do is, it says we need to, first of all, let's see, replace f of x with y. So I'm going to replace f of x with a y. So it's going to be y equals 3x minus 4. All right. Next thing here, interchange x and y. So let's do that. So I'm going to have x equals to 3y minus a 4. All right, now what else? Okay, solve for y. So my job here is to get this by itself. Okay, so to do that, so let me write it over. So I have x is equal to 3y minus a 4. I'm going to add a 4 to both sides. Now these are unlike terms. You can't add them together. So it's going to be x plus a 4 equals to 3y. Now is y by itself? No. So I'm going, now what's the opposite of timesing by 3? Well, of course, it's dividing. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. Now let's flip this around a little bit. So if I flip this around, it's going to be y is equal to, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 3 into the x and the 3 into the 4. Now remember, there is a 1 right here. So what is it going to be? Well, it's going to be 1 over x, 1x over 3, or a 1/3 x, plus a 4/3. All right, now, next step here, it says replace y with f of x. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to change this y to f inverse of x equals 1/3 x plus 4/3. And now I have found, and this is the inverse of the function. Okay guys, that is your review. So make sure you study this, watch it as often as you need to in order to feel really good about it. And next class period, when you walk in the door, we're going to start right off the bat and retake this quiz. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.